Hello. I tried recording this on stream, but I feel like I was very incoherent, so I wanted to deliver the information in a more succinct, focused way than the chaos that is whenever I stream. This is basically just catching you up on what's been happening, what I plan to do with Strive, why I'm dropping Happy Chaos, who I'm going to main, whether or not I'm going to compete, stuff like that. So we are now halfway through the Vanquisher Challenge, and the current tier list looks something like this. Previously, I used this as a kind of measure of I would main these characters if not for Happy Chaos, and also the challenge itself served as kind of a way for me to learn the characters better so that I could play against them better as Happy Chaos, so that I could have an idea of like, here's where I can mash out, here's what I can do, etc., etc. But because Happy Chaos changed completely, I am not really interested in playing him anymore. I already made a whole video about that, so I'm not going to yap about that too much. So now instead, this tier list effectively is turning into my candidates for main, especially this category, which right now has characters that are almost certainly going to be a main of mine. Because HT was the character I was so attached to, my competitive drive for the game is a lot lesser, but that doesn't mean I won't compete at all. In fact, I'll slowly start participating in weeklies every once in a while as I learn more and more about my mains. And yes, that's right, mains multiple. I kind of feel like I got burned by the Happy Chaos changes, and while I love that Strive is evolving, from here on out, I'll make an effort to not get too attached to a character in a developing game like Strive, as opposed to something like, I don't know, Melty or something. And since there's a handful of characters I like, there's a lot of candidates. Well, as I said on stream, I'm kind of in my tag slop era. I'm playing 2xk on my free time, I'm getting ready for Marvel Tokon to come out, and now, even in a 1v1 game like Strive, I intend on maining 2 to 3, maybe even 4 characters. And I'm gonna do it in a slightly sociopathic way. Sorry for the flashbang, but here's a spreadsheet. It includes some characters I haven't done yet, such as Millia, Geo, and Baiken. I might add more. Remember, before doing this challenge, I had basically zero interest in Ino or Jacko, but I ended up liking them more than some of the characters that I actually thought I would enjoy, like Testament or Abba. The reason why this is kind of sociopathic is because this spreadsheet exists to map on the different matchups, and I will decide on the 2, 3, maybe potentially 4 characters for me to focus on based on how well they cover each other's matchups. So for example, if Asuka is bad into Soul, I will play, Ino, who's good into Soul. I'm just making stuff up, but you get the idea, right? Based on matchup, if I'm playing somebody in tournament who's a Soul player, I'll pick the character that beats Soul the best out of the arsenal that I have. That's why it's tag slop. I'm literally building a team of Avengers to just blast through tournament brackets. That's it. I kind of hate to do this because I really liked the idea of me being really loyal to like one character and only caring about that one character. But as I said, I got radicalized, okay? I got radicalized. I'm sorry. It's true. I will simply, before every match, I will simply look at each character that is in my roster of characters that I've learned, and I'll decide which one I want to do in that particular matchup. Over the coming weeks and months, I will collect opinions from really good Asuka, Ino, Jacko, etc. players on the different matchups in the game. And I will use that information to sort of build my team. If you're a Vanquisher player, feel free to recommend me stuff or just say what your opinions are on the bad matchups, the good matchups this patch. If you're not Vanquisher, feel free to still give your opinion, but just let me know what rank you are ahead of time so that I know what to color my perspective with. I've already done videos about Asuka and Jacko and Zato, so I don't think I need to explain why I am interested in those characters. But as for Millia, Geo, and Baiken, I think I should offer a little bit of an explanation why I'm looking forward to taking these characters to Vanquisher in particular, and hopefully learning them in my own free time. Firstly, I like how Giovanna moves. I like her fast speed. This is very appealing to me, this kind of footsies game. Her tick throws look very satisfying. I really like the dash momentum that she gets. I like that her pressure is, while not reliant on a lot of mixes, it's very daunting to deal with, and she does a lot of chip damage. I feel like in general, she's a pretty daunting character to deal with. And in general, if I am going to play somebody like Asuka or Jacko, I kind of want to counteract that with a character that is quote unquote simpler, that is more focused on neutral, on whiff punishes, and that doesn't rely on some kind of complicated meter mechanic that I'm going to have to learn. So I like that as a counterbalance. For Milia, I feel a little bit unsure about the rigidity of her movement, especially in the air. This air dash feels strange to me, but I think it's possible that I'll just learn to get used to it, basically, as well as this. For some reason, her H-Disc does not appeal to me as much. Usually, I like projectile Oki, especially when it gives you a bunch of mix. But for some reason, for Milia in particular, it's just not very appealing to me. Again, I'm anticipating that I will just have to learn the character and I'll feel differently about it after that. But the main reason why she's such a good candidate for me is I like the fast movement. I like that she's very heavily mix focused. I think that visually a lot of her movement is really, really cool. And a lot of her mix-ups look interesting to me, especially ones that don't rely on H-Disc, which obviously I'm gonna have to do if I want to win with this character, but I'm kind of interested in exploring her a little bit deeper to get at the core of her other mechanics and kind of tech that people maybe don't utilize as much. I don't know. I think she has a lot of interesting, fun stuff. I feel like people don't normally expect me to like this character or to mess with this character, but there's a lot that appeals to me about her. Now, sadly, her parry got a little bit nerfed, but the part that actually interests me still is her guard cancel. I think this is simply one of the most interesting mechanics in the game, and the potential of mastering it and not messing it up like this or like that is very appealing to me. It feels like a very high skill ceiling thing, and it's very, very rewarding. Obviously, this character hypothetically has the best defense in the game because she can just, you know, negate anything you do if you're cracked enough, which that's like the thing that appeals to me about Happy Chaos is he is hypothetically very powerful, but to unlock that power level, you have to put in a bunch of time into him. So on top of that, things like Yozansen just look very satisfying to me. I love her combos. In fact, even though I don't play this character, I've already labbed a couple of combos just because I think that this character looks sick. Tether is another interesting mechanic. I think the way that this thing makes you interact with your opponent is really, really interesting, leads to a lot of wacky kind of situations. And overall, okay, she just has aura. I don't know how to explain it, okay? She just appeals to me a lot. She has aura, she's cool. I'm anticipating being quite frustrated about some of her inconsistencies and the way that Far Slash doesn't always necessarily connect with your opponent, or the way that some combos kind of have a tendency to drop. I know this character is a little bit finicky. That's okay. Maybe I'll hate it, and if I do, then maybe I'll just keep her as a secondary or something, or she won't be on the roster at all. But as it is right now, I'm really interested in exploring this character further. So yeah, that's my list. Asuka, Ino, Jacko, Zato potentially for specific matchups, Gio, Milia, and Baiken. And maybe Soul for some specific matchups. Again, I kind of put him in the spreadsheet purely because every time that I've picked him up, I just found myself stuck in training mode because I just enjoy how this character feels, how his buttons feel, how his combos work, and I just ended up labbing him a bunch. So that's a pretty good sign for a character, in my opinion. A character that just makes you want to sit in a lab and just see what you can do with them. In fact, out of this entire list, I think Soul and Baiken are the ones that invoked the same feeling I initially had with Happy Chaos the most, where I just, you know, booted up training mode and I just tried to see what was possible with the character. So that's something that I just labbed for fun one evening because I just felt like labbing a little bit of Baiken for some reason. I don't even know how to play this character properly, really, but I just wanted to see what I could do. So in my opinion, that's a pretty good sign. And a little bit of bonus context, I'll probably be making stuff other than Strive related things. I will probably try out Ingrid when she comes out for Street Fighter. I'll probably try out the Avatar fighting game. And aside from fighting games, I'm going to try out Limbus Company soon. I will start a second channel where I upload non-fighting game related stuff. In general, I'm pretty excited. Thank you for supporting me on this journey of taking everybody to Vanquisher. It's been a long time. I haven't been very fast with it because I don't know. I don't want to just rush things and overwhelm myself for no reason. But y'all have been really cool. We are reaching 1,000 subs soon, and hopefully, in the nearest future, you will see me in a top 8 or something, playing like 3 different characters. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, I've already started Axel, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of other characters. Come to my Twitch if you feel like it. Have a good one. See ya.